Hello, Sparrow family. This is Jeff and Tony Brabeck of Our Little Sparrows. Welcome to the show. In every one of these episodes, in this format, we want to bring something that's applicable to our community, whether it be an article that we saw online and we were really interested by it, or even celebrities.
Right.
So I think that leads us right into what we want to talk about.
Absolutely. And a lot of us have heard already the story of Chrissy Teigen and John Legend and the loss of their son, Jack, which took place, I believe, at the late September. She posted on Instagram that they lost their son. And
the feedback on that was mixed.
Yes. I didn't get to read a lot about that, but I heard that there were some very negative, critical comments about Chrissy posting about what had happened and being so open about their loss of Jack and just the grief that goes around that. And
well, in fact, she was still in the hospital.
Yeah,
I think that was pretty intense for some people.
Yeah,
and especially if you're not to do it so
Mm-hmm.
quickly, and especially if you're not a parent who's experienced loss. And I think some of the negativity was coming from that angle, that perspective. But yeah, definitely mixed responses. At Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. So
I'd say for the most part,
it was positive.
Overall, it was positive. I think people were really appreciative of their openness.
Right.
And it really said a lot to those of us that have already experienced pregnancy loss, and has actually kind of set the tone, or maybe opening the door for others who will experience pregnancy loss at some point, that it's okay to share. We want it to be okay for people to share. So anyways, recently John performed at the Billboard Music Awards.
Right.
And it was a song that he wrote for Chrissy after the loss of their son, just through the valleys that they've experienced. And it was such a touching song. I believe it was called We Will Never Break, or something like that. And it was a very powerful song. And he made a statement on Instagram and to Chrissy about that song. And it was, John Legend wrote it on his Instagram thread. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I had a few things that stuck out to me. We'll put it up on the screen right now. But essentially, John posted several things. I felt like the first thing that I wanted to address is that he really talked about his feelings. He talked about the highs, the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. And this was all in context with his marriage to Chrissy. So it was beautiful, right? So he just started out with how he's feeling. And I think we can all associate to that. He specifically said, we've experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows together. So right from the beginning, he includes Chrissy and doesn't say me. And so I really liked that it was a partnership is what I really felt. So he went from his feeling, he went right into his understanding of what they're going through. And right here, he recognizes that life is a gift. It's a miracle. And he says, we've experienced the power of joy, and now we felt its fragility. Right. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure this is in reference to their children that they have already had together, and then obviously this loss. And this loss is a new journey, a new part of their journey. And so he went right into this is the realization of our new reality. Right. And then he goes into his commitment about Chrissy, and I think this is beautiful. I think it's very important that when families are going through a crisis like this and tragedy, that we need to have a support. And we've talked about this a lot over the last, we started this YouTube channel in April of this year, mainly because of COVID, gave us the opportunity. But what we've been going over for the last 6 months is really talking about support. And so they have a support. They have each other. Not every one of us have our partner, right? But he talks about, as long as we walk this earth, we hold each other's hands through every tear, through every up and down, through every test. That's amazing. Yeah. Because he's telling the world that he's in a committed relationship, and this is what he's dedicated his life to as a partnership with Chrissy, which I thought was great. And the last thing that I just wanted to touch on real quick, he talked about gratitude. And this really set me back, because it's one thing to come out and say, this is what we're feeling, this is what we're going through, this is our new reality. But then he flipped it all on its heels, so to speak, And he ended with his gratitude to those who have reached out to the family. And that's people they don't even know.
Right.
And he just basically said, and I'll end with this. He said, "We feel and appreciate your love and support more than you know." And so I can't tell you how much I respect this man, and I respect any person who would embrace their tragedy, their loss, baby loss, in this fashion and put it so raw and so real and put it out to the world. And I don't think this is a person who's boasting in themselves.
Right.
And that's really what I wanted to get across, is that this is genuine. I see a lot of humility and a lot of commitment to the new journey that they're on, the new story that's being written, because they don't have Jack.
Right.
And there's other things he said since the hospital, and maybe we'll address those in another episode. But I just thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, if you read his post, there's so much that is written in between the lines, and it just shows a lot of his commitment to his marriage and to his family,
Maturity.
which I think is really refreshing.
Yeah.
A lot of times we see a lot of breakdowns in the relationships, and to see his commitment that he's gonna we're gonna get through this together. It's really refreshing. Chrissy shared this to her Instagram post, or her Instagram, and she said, "We are quiet, but we are okay. Love you all so much." And then just that one short sentence, I think she said quite a bit. They're taking time just to be on their own, taking a break from social media or whatever obligations they have, much needed rest and time for healing as just their family unit. And I think that's so important.
And it shows the difference between the two relationships, or the two individuals that are in a relationship. You know how they say opposites attract, right? Well, there you go. You see a dramatic opposite. You see John, who's like, I want to get this out there. I want to get it out now, because this is how I feel. This is my heart. And Chrissy's heart is not that she doesn't want to share, but her heart is saying, we're quiet right now, but we're okay.
Yeah.
And so that just shows that they're in two different places, but on the same journey. And that's normal.
Right.
Right? I think this shows normalcy.
And it shows that they're supporting each other in that, obviously she knew John was going to perform that song.
And she gave him that opportunity. Yeah.
I think she knew, but I'm assuming here. So anyways, our hearts are with them for sure. And especially, holidays coming up, it's going to be challenges for every family that
all these
is
different
experiencing loss. So
well, if you're getting value out of this, we really appreciate you sticking around and watching this episode. Subscribe to the channel. That's the best way to continue getting the word out there that we're even existing on YouTube. We're a very unique channel. We're not your typical channel that has to do with pregnancy and infant loss. Also, if you could ring that bell, you'll get alerts when we post a new episode every week. And then give us a thumbs up on those episodes that you really like and that you found value in. And again, all this goes to help spread awareness of pregnancy and infant loss, and getting more people to realize and understand that this valuable resource is here. You can click or tap on the image above, and you're going to be able to access our weekly podcast playlist and check out those episodes. Or if you if you click or tap on the image below, then you'll access our playlist for our grief series. It's the pregnancy journey, grieving from diagnosis to the loss of your baby and beyond. And that series really takes you, it dives deep and takes you through the whole journey. If you were pre-diagnosed with a fatal or life-limiting condition, pregnancy.